Welcome back. Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia, 866-300-9298. If you want to cue your call up, 866-300-9298. By the way, Japan is officially in a correction. Japan is down over 10%. The Japanese index down over 10%. Remember, just a year ago, we were talking about Japan starting a currency war. Japan setting out to devalue their currency. It was very, very interesting. And you remember, I hope you do, some of you might, me remember using this term currency war that they were starting. And I came out and I said, look, Japan is trying desperately to drive up their stock market, and it's probably going to work. But unfortunately, they don't realize it's only going to work for about 6 months. Well, I was wrong for that. It lasted about 9 months, maybe even a year, because I forget how long ago it was. But and it didn't last, and now they're feeling the effects. So now they try to drive up their stock market, which they did. Now it's corrected. It's down 10%. So it's officially in a correction, moving downward. And now they have an even more currency out there in their monetary system, devaluing their currency even further. So all their quantitative easing in Japan's case came back to bite them very, very quickly. So interesting. Japan officially in a correction. Of course, the Dow for the month of January down 5%. What is it? I think it's 5.2%. The S&P down about 3.2%, give or take. So we'll see. We'll watch and see how the markets open here this morning. But that's where we are right now for the month of January. Nobody seems to care much about it. One thing that happened as well, we were expecting some sort of decision on the Keystone Pipeline. The Keystone Pipeline was decided on. It doesn't look like the president's going to do that in light of the fact that all of the EPA reports that he was waiting for, I think they came out on Thursday, indicate there's going to be literally no substantial contribution to carbon emissions. Doesn't matter. As he is taking credit for the oil revolution that we are trying to have here and the increase in oil production, this idea of sending 830,000 barrels of oil via pipeline to the Gulf Coast refineries is not very appealing to the president. And, you know, he wouldn't want to go against some of the more brilliant economists like Robert Redford and some of those other Hollywood elite economists. Wouldn't want to go against those guys. So we're not, it looks like no Keystone Pipeline right now anyway, which is probably one of the more shameful things. I mean, this president saying one thing, talking about the energy industry and what a great job he has done for doing that. But nevertheless, he doesn't seem to want to really do anything about it. So that's what's happening right now on the Keystone Pipeline. It's something that I have been waiting to I don't know why I've been waiting for it. Should have known. Wall Street, as I said, futures are trading pretty much flat, waiting for the ISM numbers. The ISM numbers will be out in about a half an hour. So we'll report on those. That's the manufacturing number for the country. So we'll see what that looks like. But that's what everybody's waiting for. We have a lot of economic data coming out this week. By the way, today, Janet Yellen is being sworn in. So I would suspect, in light of what is going on in the markets, that all eyes are going to be on Janet Yellen's first press conference in March. And I said that back in November. We're going to have to wait and see how that does. I think a lot of people are going to sit back and wait to hear what she has to say. But nevertheless, she is being sworn in today. Ben Bernanke is officially off the hook, and he can go about his business. And now Janet Yellen is going to live with, because she has little choice, to live with the decisions that are being made. I think the Fed came out, as you know, and said they are going to continue their actions on what they are doing to reduce the amount of quantitative easing that they are doing. So I think what that has done, that announcement, I think that was Wednesday, right? That announcement that came out by the Fed has really exposed other economies around the world. dramatically because we're seeing the real weakness in these other economies that were actually dependent on the quantitative easing and the Fed's actions here in America. So that's been very, very interesting to watch and to see what is going on in Europe and other countries. So we'll continue to watch that. But again, we'll see if Janet Yellen mentions that in her March press conference. Today, ISM numbers coming out, construction spending numbers coming out, both of those numbers coming out in about a half hour. We get auto sales numbers also coming out at 2 o'clock today. Tomorrow, factory orders. That's a big number. That's a very interesting number. One we're going to watch that's coming out tomorrow. On Wednesday, of course, we have the ADP employment number. And right now, they're expected 175,000 jobs coming out of ADP. That's not a good number, by the way, but that's what they're expecting right now. They got 238 last time. They way off the mark there, but they got 238 last time, and they're expecting somewhere 175, 178 on Wednesday. The ISM service sector number. So today we're getting the manufacturing sector. On Wednesday, we get the service sector numbers. Two important numbers give us some indication of what lies ahead. Of course, Thursday, we get initial jobless claims, as we always do on Thursday. So they'll be out on Thursday. And we get our trade imbalance numbers or trade balance numbers, whatever you want to call it. But that's coming out. That is expected to go up. The imbalance to increase to 37 billion. So that is going up 37 to 37 billion. That's what it's expected to go up. It went up last month as well. We get a labor cost number also that's coming out on Thursday. That should be interesting. Natural gas inventories. Friday, of course, is the big number. Non-farm payroll number comes out. The unemployment rate, by the way, the unemployment rate is expected to go down to 6.5%. If you remember, 6.5% is the magic number that the Fed had set when all quantitative easing, they would back out. There wouldn't be any left. They would have that $4 trillion off their books at 6.5%. They would stop with the quantitative easing. So if we see employment at 6.5%, what has happened is Ben Bernanke has indicated over the last two speeches that they don't believe the numbers. They don't believe the numbers any more than I do. As a matter of fact, they know the numbers aren't true. If we see an unemployment rate coming down to 6.5%, which is what is expected from 6.7%, I would assume that it has to mean that more people are leaving the labor participation rate. So we already got a 37-year low. But it's the only way, because mainstream media, no one else is really making that big of a fuss over the labor participation rate. I believe that it gives the freedom for the BLS to support the government, to support the president in these numbers and not worried about the labor participation rate. Now, I've said this over and over again. I'll probably say it again Friday. I'll say it again now just to remind you that labor participation doesn't go down in a recovering economy. As a matter of fact, a true recovering economy has a period of increased unemployment, because those that have not been in the workforce say, wow, the economy's getting great. All my friends are getting jobs. There are so many jobs out there to apply for. I don't even know which way to go. Things are looking great. Everybody's happy. I'm going to go out and look for a job. As soon as they go out and look for a job, they become unemployed. They become counted as someone looking for a job, not someone who has just disappeared. And the unemployment rate always goes up. Hasn't happened yet. We just keep whacking people out of the labor participation rate. So the long-term unemployed getting more and more discouraged and just continue to drop, or there's something going on with the numbers at the BLS. Just saying. So we get the unemployment, we get the hourly earnings rate. That comes out. I'm interested in that. I don't care about the average hours worked per week, because that hasn't changed in 3 years, not likely to change. We're still going to stay. We can't even get to 35 hours a week, let alone 40. So I don't think that's going to change. Consumer credit comes out Friday. That's a good number. That's one we want to watch. So that'll be interesting. 866-300-9298 if you want to weigh in 866-300-9298. The market's just opened 2 minutes ago. The Dow is down 10, S&P down fractionally. So that's where we are right now. I did not see... did I? Let's just take a look and see if we have anything happening on the commodities. Oil is up slightly, 97.76. I don't even care about the crude oil prices, tell you the truth, because it has become more and more apparent that the crude oil price has a little to do with the price that we are paying at the pump for gasoline. That's all about refinery capacity. It's all about refineries. So anyway, gold up $12.47. We're below $12.50. It's up $7. It's up $12.47. Silver, $19.26. And platinum, up 10 at $13.87. Agriculture commodities, corn up about 0.5%. That's a pretty big jump for corn. Wheat is up as well. And the rest of the agricultural commodities, including cattle, down. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Marty. Marty's calling us from Pennsylvania. Hey, Marty.
Hey, how you doing? Dan, nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Marty.
I have a personal question.
Okay.
Personal finance, I guess.
Yep.
I'm a letter carrier, and I'm eligible to retire. I just turned 55. I have 34 years in the civil service in April. Mm-hmm. For personal reasons, I want to walk away and homeschool my daughter who's special needs.
Okay.
Anyway, using the cyber school system and implementing whatever I can do for her. But I have a question. Does it make sense to borrow against my thrift savings to pay down debt on a rental property to free up monthly income and just get taxed next year if I retire early next year? Yeah.
Here's the thing, Marty. First of all, I want to just tell you how much I appreciate your heart for, making some sacrifice there to want to do that for your daughter, man. That is great. I know you'll be blessed for that.
Thank you.
Here's the thing, Marty, it is okay to do, okay? I like doing that, actually. I think it's fine. But here's the problem. Here's what I want to point out to you. So if you borrow from your TSP program and you leave the Postal Service within the next 5 years, what they're going to do is they're going to count that loan then as an early distribution. So let's say you're paying back the loan, you're paying yourself back with interest and so on, and you leave in 2 years. Then the money, whatever you have borrowed that has not been paid back yet, is going to be charged to you as a distribution, and you'll have to pay a 10% penalty because you're under 59.5, and you'll have to pay tax on it.
Okay, I understand that.
So that's the only downside. But
does it make sense to bite the bullet? I mean, it'll be.
Well, what percentage, Marty, will it be of your account? Will be 50%, 10% to get rid of that debt, roughly.
What do you mean?
Like,
what do you mean?
So, in other words, your TSP program, will you have to take out or borrow out 20% to get rid of that debt? 50% of what you have in there? Like, how much do you think it would be?
I'm not sure. Because I'm so busy being a single. Well, we're divorced and all. I'm just running around like a chicken around my head sometimes. But I think it'd be about a fifth, maybe, or more.
Okay.
Or less. I mean.
Yeah. Then I would be okay with it because I assume what you're thinking is if you can free up the debt on that rental property, it'll give you some more cash flow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I'll be debt free next year. So I got really 17 months of paying, a mortgage basically, $900 a month, which I've been basically living paycheck to paycheck and even socking away money in my thrift savings plan. So I don't really have a lot of disposable cash. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's okay to do, Marty. I do. I think it's okay to do. I would tell you to, I think it's fine because it's not a significant portion of your TSP. So you're still going to have that to rely upon, to supplement your income once you can't work part-time or do anything like that. And, I'm not, listen, here's what I believe, Marty. I'm not saying, I'm not a prosperity kind of preaching kind of guy, but I will say this. I also believe that, God's going to bless your heart, for wanting to do what you want to do. And ultimately, I know, the Lord knows you're doing the right thing in what you want to do. And I give you a lot of credit for that. So, I'm okay with it. I think it's great. I know you're going to find some part-time work and the pieces will start coming together. And I applaud you for being able to live paycheck to paycheck in order to stay debt-free, because that is going to serve you so well in a few years. So good stuff, Marty. Glad you're doing it.
God bless you.
Thank you, Marty. I appreciate it. God bless you, and I wish you all the best with that. Great stuff. You're listening to Financial Issues, folks. I'm Dan Syria, coming to you from snowy Philadelphia. It is just, I tell you, they say we're supposed to get 4 to 6 inches. We had like 4 inches where I live. I live in the western suburbs. We got hammered. I had 4 inches as I was getting ready to do the show. So, and it was in like 3 hours time. So hopefully it lets up, and it's going to be heavy. It means my back's going to be hurting tomorrow. Anyway, 866-300-9298. If you want to weigh in, 866-300-9298. We're going to get back to the phones. We'll stay with the phones after this break. 866-300-9298. The major indices just turned positive slightly, fractionally, barely. Dow just turned negative too. Okay, so the S&P still up slightly, NASDAQ up slightly. So we'll see what it's going to do. We've got, 20 minutes to the ISM numbers, and I think that's what everybody's going to be waiting on. 866-300-9298. We'll be right back.